coming to you from the great city of Birmingham. And time to meet the players. Ladies and gentlemen, the former UK Open champion and reigning World Grand Prix champion from Scotland, the Thorn, Robert Thornton! Of the world, Jackpot, Adrian,
The Birmingham crowd in grey voice. The pressure way model moves on to Adrian Lewis now.
It does. Just if he can get the job done tonight. He's playing Robert Thornton. He's a 1-2 shot to win the match. He's odds on. But if he can beat Robert, he will move 3 points ahead of James Wade. That will be a massive fillip for him, because James Wade has got to play Michael van Gerwen next, and 3 points at this stage of the season is just huge. It really is.
He looks focused, he looks determined. Huge pressure on him though.
There is, but I think after last week, he'll want to put that right. He'll just want to play better. He knows the mistakes he made last week. I've actually spoke to him, and he just said he fell out of sorts and he didn't play particularly well. So if he can just get that arm going and stop using so much shoulder in his movement, I think he'll be fine. But Robert Thornton...
He's a spoiler.
He's the ultimate spoiler, isn't he? think you're going to beat Robert Thornton at your peril, because he has plenty of ability up his sleeve.
Over to Stuart Pike and John Part.
A nervy match for Adrian, because it's all to lose, really. And on the other hand, Robert really has nothing to gain, but just his dignity. He wants to play well. He wants to stop Adrian. He has no sympathy after the season he's endured. He would love nothing better than to dump Adrian out, essentially, or put him into really hot water anyway.
Yeah, spot on. Thornton with much to prove. Another disappointing Premier League season for the Scot. He's won only 4 out of the last 32 in the Premier League, for goodness sake, and that isn't good enough. He knows it.
97.
But the ultimate spoiler just about sums up Thornton these last couple of weeks, and he really could hurt Lewis's hopes of reaching the semi-finals for Lewis
78.
after that double blow of losing both matches last week in Bournemouth to Van Barneveld and Van Gerwen. This simply is
83.
must win.
Oh, and a must-hit last-start trouble there for Adrian. And this is his throw, and he's going to be behind after these.
83.
Not too significantly. He needs to relax, not try too hard to get this out. Well, he might get it. No chance. Good job, though, all around there.
143.
So Lewis will return. Looking at double 14.
43. Adrian required 28.
An important hold of throw. Always awkward.
No score.
Well, he's busted
Robbie,
score. Thornton here. He may look at tops twice. Got a let off in the end, I think,
60.
for Lewis.
Adrian required 28.
Maybe. He's still got to hit it. He's got it.
Shots in the first leg. Adrian Lewis.
You can't-
Robert
You can't squander that sort of a second chance, and he hasn't.
Well, it was very much a case of after the Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it, in Bournemouth, as Thornton looks to hit the first 180 of the match. Lovely darts from the Scot. Of course, 2 weeks ago in Belfast, the magical
60.
9-darter, and then two really painful, costly defeats for Adrian Lewis.
Well, it wasn't all Adrian.
57.
His opponents certainly played their parts to hand him a disappointing night, and Adrian just has to regroup. Gets his 180 in this leg, so one each in the leg. Still Robert favored. He might get another. He has 3 180s in the leg.
Great response from Thornton, but this is the danger. Nothing to lose. He can go out there and
84.
enjoy himself. Have a go.
Yeah, why not? Bullseye needed. Very, very
59.
close. And Adrian will need a bullseye if he's to do it. Leave himself handy.
98.
Just in case, Robert. This is his 25.
Yeah, Thornton likes this route. 17 for double 4.
17. Adrian
Oh, what a chance this is now for Adrian Lewis. My, you're going to have one dart. That's a beauty.
In the second leg.
And once again, it was an opportunity he did not expect.
Well, Thornton hit 2 180s in the leg and lost it.
He did lose it. That was down to him. Really should have held his throw.
134.
A good response again from Lewis. Just give us an insight, if you will, into Thornton's mentality, because he escaped elimination by the skin of his teeth. He knew that he had little or no chance of reaching the playoffs. So how do you go about it?
20.
Well, I think, you know, you got to look at the overall, the long term, and it's a good chance to develop your stage game playing all these matches, even though you have no chance at much of anything,
94.
probably not even of getting out of 8th, but it is a fantastic opportunity to acclimate, to feel good, and for the next thing, perhaps the World Cup, match play, whatever it is, he can put himself in a good frame of mind and take himself out of the negativity that surrounded him at the World Championship
60.
and through at the beginning stages of this.
Well, I think Thornton has showed in the early weeks of the Premier League, never quite recovered from what happened to him at the World Championship when he was walloped, wasn't he, by Alan Norris.
And what Chizzy did to him at the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And he threw away a golden opportunity as Adrian Lewis throws in another winning double. 3-0 to Lewis. And the perfect start. This is a big game. If Lewis wins, he goes to 17.
100.
And that would mean that he and Anderson are 3 points clear of James Wade. Just to remind you as well, if Wade loses, to Van Gerwen. Not only could Van Gerwen go to the top because of Taylor's defeat, it would also mean that Anderson, with a win over Peter Wright in our last game, is through into the semi-finals, the defending Premier League champ. So
140.
Still all the permutations, but it will be a lot clearer, I think, by the end of tonight.
121.
Well, I think just that win by Anderson over Raymond, that alone puts him in a very good frame of mind. I don't think he needs to win any match in particular. He's in a good position. He's ensured himself of that.
Adrian, you require 138.
And he's starting to look a little more relaxed, and he might just fancy this. No. Yeah, what is that? I think he may have actually caught a bit of the flight of the first dart, but
78. Robbie requires
Thornton
60.
hasn't had much luck at all. In fact, none at tops.
Game shot and a full flag. Robert Thornton. The flag Adrian to throw first.
But the prospect is very much there that at the end of the day, after 16 weeks, we will have, as we head to the O2, the top 4 in the world. Battling it out, Van Gerwen, Taylor, Anderson and, well, Van Gerwen, Anderson, Taylor and Lewis.
Well, that does seem appropriate in a season where we actually had the top 10 in the world entering in the Premier League, which
121.
pretty sure is a first.
James Wade will have a word or two to say about that.
60.
But yet a big night for Lewis. Wins here, he will feel he's not too far off, but Lewis's last 2 games are against Taylor
135.
So all those factors heaping pressure onto him in what on paper should be a nice, relaxed, easy match.
Well, he's handling it pretty well so far, isn't he?
Yeah, he's settling down.
Adrian Lewis to Robert to throw first.
His composure, he's just looking that much more relaxed. Maybe not entirely, but you can see the tension on his face through the first few legs. Almost in a look of pain.
Well, the second leg is all important now, isn't it, John? It
140.
could turn out to be, even early in the game, the turning point, with Thornton hitting 2 180s in the leg, missing darts at double. Lewis took it.
100.
And that all-important break.
Yeah, it was a good thing for him that he had summoned the 180 himself in that leg to keep pace.
80.
That's unlucky. You could hear the click of tungsten on metal.
140.
3 missed darts from Thornton in that second leg. 1 at the bull, 2 at double 4.
60. Robert, you require 138.
The thing is, Thornton is only the 1 break down. It looks worse than it is.
126.
Still to come, James Wade and Michael Van Gerwen.
140.
Peter Wright against Gary Anderson. Thornton looks at double 6. Try double 3, Robert.
6.
Never looked confident.
81.
And now looking more predatory. Double 12. Excellent punishment. The missed doubles once again. But that time Adrian looked fully composed and ready to just jump onto it.
Well, let me throw this into the mix. Another factor which could play a big part. I mean, all important, Lewis wins.
140.
Leg difference. Anderson at the moment plus 10. A big win for Lewis. And it really
140.
would hurt James Wade even more. James Wade plus 1 leg difference. Lewis a chance of extending his.
58.
Yeah, it really helps you in the overall standings throughout the season to get those lopsided wins. It's good to have them in your back pocket just in case.
100.
It's also good to avoid being beaten handily.
But this is an excellent response from Adrian Lewis
98.
after the trials and tribulations of Bournemouth a week ago.
Yeah, and well, you could see he was wearing the tension the first few legs. He was visibly
42.
Tense is the only word I can think of. It's not nervous, but he knew how important it was, and he survived it. He was lucky in a few instances, but he took advantage.
Well, the big question before this game was always going to be which Adrian Lewis will turn up tonight.
75.
The answer so far has been emphatic.
$35. Robert, you require 130.
Well, Robert, I was going to say a good finisher in that sort of range up to there, but treble 5 disarmed him.
90. Adrian, you require 40.
Yeah, he's been pretty good on top tonight. 6-1. One to go. Thornton hasn't beaten Lewis for 3 years. Adrian unbeaten in 9 against the Scot.
59.
That's going to be unbeaten in 10. And it looks like being a 6th consecutive win for Adrian Lewis over Robert Thornton. But
140.
he's responded, hasn't he? He's responded well.
And he's settled down. He looks like Adrian Lewis, the world
83.
champion now.
Very much so. If we didn't know before, we do know now that Raymond van Barneveld cannot qualify for the
59.
playoffs. After this point guaranteed for Adrian Lewis, but Barney, it was always an uphill struggle for him, but defeat against Gary Anderson all but confirming that no semi-final spot for the Dutchman this year. But it looks like being for Adrian Lewis.
36.
He produces his worst 3 darts of the match so far.
Well, it's against throw.
58.
To give him perhaps losing a little bit of focus, but he can pull himself right back in. 19's needed here. He can go back to 20s if he wants. Just going to dodge around
96.
Another dart. Good effort.
Oh,
Leaves the 170.
167.
I think Thornton lost focus after losing that second leg.
81. Adrian, you require 170.
What a way to win this would be. May look at the ball. Well, he went for treble 18.
Well, you require 86.
Good enough. Robert needs a treble now after hitting only a 4 the first dart. Maybe a bull.
Well, that first dart
78.
probably sums up
Adrian,
Robert Thornton's Premier League
78.
season. Just to win it. He's been very good on tops tonight.
38. Well, you require 8. A shot in the A flag, Robert Thornton.
You feel it's only delaying the inevitable. Lewis missing 1
Game.
dart to win 7-1.
Yeah, the look on Robert's face hitting the double 4s was almost as if, why did I do that?
60.
He must be discouraged. He had his chances to really make a match of it early on and just failed to hit those doubles.
140.
Only 2 of 9 at double. And one of those was that double 4 just then.
140. $82.
Now, Adrian must keep his focus. I know it's far-fetched to think he could only get a point out of this still, but you have to finish the job. It's easy enough to lose one leg after the other if you don't throw properly.
Well, one of those would be handy.
134. Robbie, 140.
140 for Thornton. Lewis will return to try and wrap it up. Already missed 1 match dart.
Yeah, well, 67, 51 to leave double 8.
Adrian requires 67.
I feel like he should probably do it now. 10 to leave tops. 1 dart for tops, then the wrap it up.
27. Robbie, you require 80.
So Thornton will have a dart at tops as well.
60. Adrian, you require 40.
To go to 17 points in the Premier League table, double 10. That's a great win for Adrian Lewis. It's a great response after that double defeat in Bournemouth a week ago. And Adrian Lewis takes a giant step towards the semi-finals of this year's Premier League. He moves level on points with Gary Anderson. But another nightmare night for Robert Thornton. But for Adrian Lewis, it's job done in Birmingham.
During that